the last prophet that and the last messenger that Allah sent was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as he stated on many occasions, he often said that he had to suffer what the other prophets suffered. He also stated that he was the fulfiller. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad represented all these prophets, and he was murdered during the Sabbath day. All the prophets from Jesus to Muhammad, any of the prophets that were sent during Satan's 6,000-year rule, all of their deaths and persecutions are, that God is going to require that of this generation, because Honorable Elijah Muhammad represented all of the prophets. So, anyway, continuing, you must remember that under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's leadership, Savior's Day was always held on February 26th, regardless of what day of the week it fell. So when the messenger died on February 25th, 1975, Savior's Day was held the very next day, which was February 26, 1975. Also remember that Honorable Elijah Muhammad forbid Muslims from carrying weapons, but what happened one day after his death?
The government lay and said, well, we'll wait for that hour. And then when the Muslims began to fight, they would come in and kill us all. Because what happened was, when Wallace made his move that Savior's Day, Wallace had brothers out of Philadelphia, came in. All of them were strapped down. All of them was packing. They had guns. All of them. Every last one of them was strapped down. Well, Rasul brought them in from Philadelphia with guns. And I hugged one of them. And I said, my God, this man, where's the gun? And so Wallace kept those brothers around there for a long time. And one time I was at the temple, and the brother was sitting there. You know how they sit on the floor? Yes, sir. And the gun fell out on the floor, and I got up and walked out and hadn't been back since.
Within 24 hours, you have so-called Muslims with guns right at Savior's Day. Is that right? What is going on here? Who is checking for weapons at the door? Based on the evidence and the testimony of Brother Minister John Muhammad, these hypocrites working for the government not only anticipated the death of for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but made sure the old man died.
According to what Dr. Charles Williams, Dr. Charles Williams called the hospital one night and told me, he said, I don't know if I should be coming to the hospital or I should be going to the airport. He said, because some of the doctors feel like the boys must be trying to get rid of the old man, because he couldn't understand how he could have gotten in this kind of condition right there in the hospital.
Let's deal with Bernard Kashmir or Jabril Muhammad's letter concerning the Honorable Elijah Muhammad escaping a death plot. In September of 1977, Jabril Muhammad, also known as Bernard Kashmir, came to Hollywood, California and visited Louis Farrakhan at a hotel. At this meeting, Jabril Muhammad produced a purported letter written in 1966 by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to himself, Jabril Muhammad. This letter was a response that the Honorable Elijah had to Bernice Kashmir's vision she had in October of 1966. In her vision, she saw the Honorable Elijah Muhammad under great strain and pressure. He was suffering even as he persevered in his mission. This caused her, Bernice Kashmir, this caused her great distress. Continuing in her vision, she said, then Master Farad Muhammad appeared. He spoke to her and told her that he was with his servant. He made clear that he would see him through that which he was enduring. She was comforted by his words. She then related her experience to her husband, Jabril Muhammad, the next morning. Jabril Muhammad wrote a letter to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and informed him of her vision and his response to it. And what I'm saying is, Jabril wrote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a letter about his wife's vision, and then Jabril Muhammad also wrote the messenger what he thought about her vision. In his return letter, and when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote Brother Jabril Muhammad back, he acknowledged the truth of what Master Farad Muhammad told her in her vision, not Jabril's. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he could not go through all that which he was going through without the continuous and direct help of Master Farad Muhammad. Now this, I want to stop here. Now, this response in 1966 from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to Sister Bernice Kushmir letter, where he states that the Master Farad Muhammad is giving him continuous and direct help. This should do away with any of you out there. You know, this is just more evidence that the messenger didn't believe or did not tell us, or we shouldn't even be thinking that Master Farad Muhammad is dead, or he's not alive, or he's inconsequential. Because right here we see the messenger is telling one of his followers that Master Farad Muhammad is continually and directly guiding him. But let me continue. Then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in the purported letter that one day he will be the object of a particular death plot from which Allah will enable him to escape. According to Jabril Muhammad's understanding of the letter, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad clearly indicated to me that this future effort to murder him would be greater than all of the efforts which others had or were still making to take his life, which went back to at least 1935. So the true communication was between the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Bernice Kushmir, and not Banar Kushmir. Well, what happened? In August 1967, less than 1 year after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad confirmed Bernice Kushmir's vision, the Muhammad Speaks newspaper printed in big bold letters, "Death Plan Exposed, Plot to Murder Muhammad." Obviously, Bernice Kushmir tuned up on the devil's plan, or Allah revealed to her the death plot. And what happened? Allah delivered the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and Master Farad Muhammad agreed, that he would give his life. His life would not be taken, but given. Jesus of 2,000 years ago decided that he would allow them to kill him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he will give his life, meaning he will decide when he will allow them to kill him, and Allah agreed. And I quote, this is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Master Farad Muhammad. "I can't destroy the nations, but I will die trying to teach them." He, Allah, looked at me and smiled and said, "Yes." He said, "You will do that." He looked at me some more. He said, "Yes, he will give his life." He said, "Jesus didn't do anything, no more than any believer." Now, reasonable minds will conclude that the 1966 death plot letter and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's response to it was realized in 1967. Yet Banar Kushmir and Louis Farrakhan came to the conclusion that this letter has something to do with what just happened in 1975, almost 10 years after Bernice Kushmir's vision. How did they reach this conclusion? Well, let's look at the environment and state of mind of Louis Farrakhan and Jabril Muhammad when they reached this false understanding.
And right after Labor Day, I went to Los Angeles, and Jabril didn't have any money. He borrowed some money to get there. I think he had a dime in his pocket and had on some shoes that was too big for his feet. But he got there, and he had a book in a paper bag. And we met in Hollywood at the hotel where I was staying.